use the gift to actually. He is fed up with the Black Queen shit, and he's not gonna stand for it any longer. So as the Black Queen is like making him try on fucking goofy ass outfits that he despises, he pulls out the present and pulls it in front of her. She goes to reach inside, not knowing what it is. She's like, oh, it's very loud on the inside. As she does, the finger that has the ring on is cut off. The ring is what gives her power, because the rings have the power of whatever the prototype kernel sprites have inside of them. So for example, they put in a crow, now the Black Queen has giant fucking wings, she can fly. And obviously it's like super amplified because a stuffed Harlequin doll isn't going to give you any power, but you know, it gives power regardless, and it's super fucking strong. And after that happens, she reverts back into a normal carapace, and Jack takes the ring. And once Jack takes the ring, he goes on a murder spree and starts killing everyone. White Kingdom, Black Kingdom, he doesn't care.
You're all on my list.
Yep. He goes on a murder spree and he uses a technique known as red miles, which we'll see a couple times, because essentially, when he holds his hand up in the air, uses the ring, and these giant red tendrils start, they look like veins, start spreading across the universe, destroying everything. And as he does this, he completely destroys CrossFit. And before this happens, Dream Jade, who is now still trying to wake up Dream John, who, remember, for some reason, even when waking John is asleep, is not awake. So she's like grabbing him, slapping him, trying to wake him up before CrossFit gets destroyed. And she throws him aside right before she's about to get crushed by a giant piece of the planet. And Dream Jade ends up dying. However, this works, as after that, John wakes up. Dream John wakes up. And this is where we see S descent.
Death count.
I will put the death count. Dream Jade, dead. Well, you know what? Black Queen, dead.
Oh, wait, you know count?
Yeah.
That's bro.
That is Bro.
So fucking cool.
He's somehow the worst and the coolest at the same time. Ooh. So there's him saving Dave, letting him hatch the egg before.
Also, F everyone on the two other sides of the house.
Every time I see that, him cutting it in half, it just gives me Resident Evil vibes.
Oh, the peanut sword.
Cutting assholes.
That is Rose's mom. That's John's dad. That is Jack Mulan after he obtains the power of the Queen. That is a red mine.
I'm assuming you don't want to count all of their deaths.
No, I'm not counting all the unnamed carapaces. That is John right now performing acrobiology. All those babies are genetic clones of him and his friends. So all their parents aren't actually their parents. They're all like test tube babies, really.
Oh.
I already said. That is the White King's staff. By using it, Jack just initiated the reckoning, which means the whole end of everything is going a lot faster. That's the creation of Beck, the god dog. There is Dream Jade. Or Jade sleeping. There is Dream Jade. And that's the robot that does the same things as her. That is the White Queen. And that is Prosper. Right now, Jack has made his way to the land of clockwork, Bro is also, and now they're fighting. Bro manages to hold off Jack for a surprisingly long time. Those are the Squiddles.
Squiddle.
TV show that Jade loves. Yeah, Jade has a lot of plushies of Squiddles. She's obsessed with them. There's Dream John still asleep. And Dream Jade trying to wake him. That is the battlefield, otherwise known as Sky. It took an entire moon crashing for John to wake up.
He's sleeping.
Now, specifically what the Reckoning does, see those portals? Those are Skya's self-defense systems, and they send meteors to random points throughout time. So all the babies that were just put on that are going to those random points throughout time. So he's essentially creating himself and all his friends and all their parents. Which means that John and Jade are actually siblings, same with Rose and Dave.
Don't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Don't think about it too hard.
I have a question.
1 second. Close out. Yeah.
Was there any significance to Bro cutting that big record that they were standing on?
There is not. I don't believe so, at least. That was just something to hold Jack off. There is something involving a record later, though, that is important. Alright, so, where was I? Descent. So, PM takes the white king and queen's crowns, who are still alive after phosphorus explosion, rather destruction, and uses that as proof to go to Jack and say, hey, look, I killed them both, give me the package already, which he does. John finally receives it, and inside there are letters from both Jade, I'll turn the music down actually for a sec. There are letters from both Jade and Jade's mysterious pen pal who helped create John's gift. Which is another bunny. John's getting a lot of those. This one is a super strong fucking robot monster of a bunny with a ton of like fucking weapons hanging off of it, named Liv Tyler. And it's like crucial to helping the kids survive right now. Act 5. It's troll time, baby. Everyone says to skip to Act 5 because the trolls are the best part of Homestuck. They're wrong. You're going to be super confused, and the trolls are great. But you need all of this. Yes. Troll time. They also play Spur, but it's not called Spur. It's called Scrub. Because their whole thing is based off of like bugs and stuff. So grub, you know, Scrub or S-Grub. Doesn't matter. They play in red and blue teams. I will go over the members of these teams. I will not say which team they are on because they switch and it doesn't matter because eventually they all merge into one team. All you need to know are the trolls, who they are. I will show you in the animations because I don't want to look up them. Anyway, there's Carcat Vantus, we saw earlier. He's crabby. He's crabby meow meow. He is angry, he is loud, and all of the trolls have typing quirks. They all type a weird, funny way. Carcat's all caps. He never taps. He never talks in lowercase unless it's like a super, like, dramatic moment where he's like, "Oh, fuck," because he does a couple times. But he always taps capitals. There's Terezi Pyro, who we also saw later, got John killed. She is all about justice. In fact, my good friend Inspector Berry Breath here was also with Terezi. She has a whole bunch of these. These are called scale mates, and they're little dragon plushies. And she lets her like do little mock trials with them, where she's like going on this random like timer, like, oh, you did this, didn't you? And at the end, she'll like execute them in different ways, and literally chop the heads off the plushies, and it's pretty fucking cool. She's rad. There's also, I should have gone and what cast. It doesn't matter. There's Aradia. Aradia is dead. Aradia starts off, you first meet her when she's dead. We don't really know much about her at this point besides that she likes archaeology and that she once dated Solon's captor, another person who was a troll. Aradia Megiddo is her full name. So yeah, she's a ghost. She used to be super into archaeology, and she doesn't really feel much of anything these days because she's dead. Solix is a super powerful psionic who loves hacking and farms bees for mind honey. I'm still not really entirely sure what it does. He's pretty cool though. He's the one who actually puts together Zagrub. Because unlike Spurb, where it's just a released game, Zagrub is comprised of files that Solix found on technology that Aradia found while in some ancient ruins. So he kind of compiled it all together, messed with it, and made the game. He believes that playing Zagrub will save the world, because Alternia, the planet that controls them on, is kind of fucked up and super racist. Who else? There's Equius. I forget his last name. Zahak. Thank you. He is strong boy. He's super fucking weird. He's like super controlling.
Sweaty.
He is very sweaty and is constantly asking for towel. He loves milk. He's very strong. That's essentially all he is. He's a strong guy. There's Nepeta Leon or Leon. It's kind of, I don't know. She's cat girl, literally. She loves shipping her friends and just shipping in general. It's kind of weird, but she's adorable. She is what is known as a Morel with Equius, and with that we have to get into full romance. Unlike human romance, where there is only one, which is romance, you have like love for another person. Trolls have 4 different types of romance, split up in quadrants. The first is mateshipship. When someone is your matesprit, that means that you essentially have a human-like romantic relationship with them. You love this person, they love you, or something akin to that, very similar, like in a very similar way. There's more allegiance, which is the best I could describe it as is the idea of a platonic soulmate. Like this person will stick with you thick and thin. They're there with you to the very end, and that's pretty much it. This is a purely platonic relationship. Also in the quadrants, they are split up. There are red and black, and then essentially romantic and then platonic. So these 2 are romantic, these 2 are platonic, these 2 are red, these 2 are black. And the red and black essentially just mean positive, negative. So again, like love, positive, best friend till the end, positive. So again, these circles represent how many people are in the relationship. There's solicitude, which is essentially wanting to hate fuck someone so bad you make an entire relationship out of it. That's honestly pretty much all there is. And then there's auspicism, which is 2 people who aren't exactly at this level and just straight up fucking hate each other, but there's one extra person who they both like, so they can stand being around the other person as long as this other person is here.
Oh, the circles, like how many people are front out?
Yes.
Okay.
The best way I can describe this, the best way that anyone who's not familiar with Homestuck can understand is by using iCarly as an example. So matespritship, Carly and Freddie. More allegiance, Carly and Sam. Kismissitude, Sam and Freddie. Auspicism, Carly, Sam, Freddie.
You would have been great.
But yeah, what are the other trolls? Let's see, there is Tavros Nitrum. He is a good boy, sweet boy. We all love him. He has been paralyzed by another troll who we'll get to in a second. He loves essentially the troll equivalent of Pokemon and like just animals in general. Fetuspawn, yes. He used to be super big on live action role playing or flarping. I forget what it stands for, but it's essentially live action role play mixed with like actual like D&D style. So like it's like you actually act the shit out, but you do still like roll dice and stuff. And there are rules. It's crazy. He doesn't do it anymore because last time he tried, he got paralyzed. And the person who paralyzed him is Vriska Circuit, a very controversial name. And I'm sure if you know Homestuck, you know. I actually do genuinely like Vriska. She's a terrible person. Don't get me wrong. She's the worst.
She's great at it.
She's great at it, and she's a good written character.
She does have a sort of redemption.
She is a huge bitch, and I'm not saying this myself. She is actively described in Homestuck as the huge bitch, or a huge bitch. She's the one who paralyzed Tavros because I wrote it down somewhere.
Because she's a bitch.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Vriska drama. She breaks Tavros' legs because she's mad at him for not having enough confidence. Aradia scares her by summoning the spirits of all the people that she killed, and that fucks Vriska up. She gets pissed at that and mind controls Solix, Aradia's boyfriend at the time, who has the super strong psionic powers, to fucking laser blast Aradia, killing her. And then Terezi, Vriska's at the time best friend, who we met earlier also, gets pissed at Vriska for doing that, and then so she manipulates another character, Doc Scratch, who we'll get into later, who is the cue ball out of the belt, to blowing Vriska's fucking face and arm off. And the way that happens is that he gives Vriska an artifact, which is essentially a magic 8-ball, but instead of an 8-ball, it's a cue ball. So it's a very white ball, and you can't see the answers in it if you're just a normal ass person. But if you can look at it the right way, or have powers that will look at it the right way, you can see what it says. And again, as the inverse of the 8-ball, where an 8-ball will give you vague answers like ask again later, or yes, no. The cue ball will give you a very specific answer to whatever you're asking. And so Terezi manipulates Doc Scratch, telling her to look into it at a certain time when it's supposed to explode. It explodes. Her arm gone, eye gone, and she gets really mad about that. So she fucking mind game. There's some trolls, specifically the trolls of lower castes. There was a blood caste, which I will get into later. Turn this down a bit. Which basically goes.
It's like a racist rainbow.
It is. It's a racist rainbow. It goes from red to orange, yellow to green to lime, which there are no lime because they're all extinct, to various colors of blue to purple to violet to magenta. And so Vriska has mind control powers, but they only work on people. And some people can be immune to those if they have certain mental defenses. Terezi is one of the people who has one of those mental defenses, and so Vriska can't mind control Terezi directly. But because of Terezi's lucis, which are essentially the troll equivalent of parents, because trolls don't really have parents. The way troll reproduction works is that
Buckets.
So there are these giant fucking titan-ass motherfuckers who walk around with giant buckets, and they go around door to door asking for genetic material, and you pour that genetic material in the bucket, and then they go back to this other big-ass bug thing, and they're like, here, use this, make more trolls. Yes.
So tiny little thing. I mentioned I was a teacher. We had this thing at some schools, be a bucket filler, and I lost it the first time I heard about that book. I was student teaching, I sat in the back of the room, I had to leave to laugh in the hallway.
But yeah, buckets are like a kind of sexual thing in folk culture because of that. And it's like